Hello, investors and traders, and welcome to the weekly market report with the market guys. I'm AJ Monty. This is a one-year daily candle chart of the Dow Jones Industrial Average ETF, ticker symbol DIA. And as I zoom in, you'll see that as I do each and every week, I've left my lines on the chart from my forecast last week, where I drew this horizontal line as support and I drew this as resistance. And I drew my forecast line right there, which is the diagonal line, projecting that we would move higher this week. And that's exactly what we did. We did move higher. Originally, I said that we would move to the 20-period moving average, which we did. And I said this would be the area of resistance that we would test. And we've done just that. In fact, we've gone over that resistance area right here. So I'm forecasting for next week that we are going to pull back to fill the gap that's down below the market now. You can see here that on Wednesday we gapped up. This is a gap right here, and I believe that the market will pull back down to fill this gap. And so as I draw my forecast for next week, it'll look just like that. Now the market is filled with the Trump optimism, with talking about bringing jobs back and the economy getting strong and business coming back to America. There is a lot of investor excitement, and I think that's what we're seeing here. But with that said, you have to be very, very careful, because this is where the traps are usually set. If you look right here, we do have a bullish engulfing pattern for the weekly chart, so I'm not going to say we're going to collapse at this particular point right here, but I do think, like I said, on the daily chart, we're going to pull back to fill that gap, and then we'll have to reevaluate. But if you look right here and I go back even further, you'll see that we have had an amazing run right here, and we're long overdue for a correction. You can see that the market trades in waves. Here we had a rally, we pulled back, rally, pulled back, rally. Well, what happens after the rally? Usually a pullback. So again, don't get too confident with that. We'll have to follow the signals week by week. Now, if we look at the Russell 2000, you'll see on the weekly chart we have a more dramatic increase here in price. Again, the Russell 2000 has almost a bullish engulfing pattern here on the weekly chart. But on the daily chart, again, you'll see my forecast was that we would go higher this week. We did just that. We wound up within pennies of my target level, which is the end of that line. And so moving forward, I think that we could, again, rally a little bit and then pull back. It's kind of interesting because the Russell 2000 is in a different position. I think we'll rally a little bit early in the week, but eventually I think we're going to pull back just like that. So you could look at it almost as a market stall. The Dow has gapped up. The Russell 2000 has not gapped up. A little bit different in the technical signals, so it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Now, if I look at the spiders, ticker symbol SPY, you'll see that this is another gap that has formed on Wednesday, and you can see here the market gapped up Wednesday. We moved right up to my target price, went even further than that, and now this former resistance line is going to act as support. So next week I think we're going to move right back to that support level, and we'll have to see whether or not the market bounces from there. Now again, gap trading is something that I track each and every week. I use it as a strategy. Remember, the rules for gap is that the gaps fill about 80% of the time, and then after the gap does fill, there's an 80% chance it'll reverse. So again, it's a little premature to see what's going to happen the week after next until we see that gap fill first. Now, if we look at the Qs, that's ticker symbol QQQ, that's the power shares, more or less following the NASDAQ. We have an interesting pattern called a doji. This is like a small little cross. That is usually a sign of indecision. Now this doji follows what's called a spinning top here. Again, another sign of indecision. And the volume is dropping slightly down here. So with the gap below the market, I think the NASDAQ will also pull back next week to fill that gap. And then we'll have to see whether or not it reverses after that. So that's my forecast for the Qs. Now, finally, the VIX, it's a ticker symbol for the volatility index. I did say that we would pull back early on the VIX, and we did just that. We are also forming dojis right here. So what I'm going to do is erase all lines for the VIX, and I'm going to forecast that the VIX is going to rally at least back to the 20-period moving average right here. That's my target for the VIX. So stand by for that. That is, again, the leading indicator that we use to forecast the shifts in the market. When the VIX is on record lows like we have already, that's usually a sign of a market top. So the VIX is kind of floundering at the lows right now, and we're expecting it to go higher next week. Now remember, I talked about gaps about 3 times today in this report, and if you're interested in learning more about gaps, go to themarketguys.com, click on the video tab, and you'll scroll down here to find the video on gaps. Trading the gap is right there. These are very short videos that you can watch on your own time, on your free time, on your weekend time, whatever it may be. And they're very short, so you could watch them, rewind them, watch them again, and get a good lesson on what we're talking about here. Gaps are one of my favorite strategies to trade, and I think you'll find that it's very interesting to see how regular gaps actually fill and how regular they are with regard to reversing the price after they fill. So that's it for this week with the Market Report. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. So long.
For almost 3 decades, AJ Monty has motivated audiences worldwide about creating personal wealth and winning in business. His time-tested risk management strategies focus on ideas that involve a keep it super simple approach, also known as the KISS principle. These concepts have been delivered to people in over 16 countries around the world, reaching audiences in the millions. AJ is a best-selling author of 2 books, The Market Guy's 5 Points for Trading Success and Take Charge of Your Money Now, both of which have been featured on PBS Television, Fox Business News, ABC TV, as well as Sirius Money Radio. As a financial educator and consultant, he has worked with some of the most recognized names in the financial industry. Companies like Bank of America, Charles Schwab, E-Trade Financial, Scotiabank, and TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim. If you have ever been challenged with having to make a tough decision regarding when to buy or sell a stock, then help is on the way. The Options Oracle and Equity Oracle Alert services are designed to help you make those tough decisions. AJ will not only help you find the best trade candidates, but he will also lay out the exit strategy for each position in an easy-to-understand format that anyone can follow.
Hi, my name is AJ Monty, Chief Market Strategist for The Market Guys. For almost 30 years, I've traded stocks, options, futures, and even currencies. I've traveled the world teaching people just like you how to profit in the market using time-tested strategies that focus on risk management. You see, the secret to making money in the market depends on your ability to limit losses when you're wrong. In other words, if you want to make a lot of money in the market, don't lose a lot of money in the market. Now that may sound funny, but it's true. Most investors are challenged with 2 questions. The first question is, how do you find a good stock? Well, the best way to find the right stock starts with eliminating all of the stocks you would not invest in. This process of elimination is called stock screening. And our services help you overcome the odds so you're putting your money where the money is going. We're simply following the trends. The second question most people ask of me is, when is it time to sell? Well, if you don't have an answer to this question, then you might find yourself in a position where you're holding on to your stocks when things go against you. This is the worst thing you could possibly do because I believe this is no longer a buy and hold market. It has evolved into a buy and protect market. Holding on and hoping for things to get better is not a strategy. In fact, doing this will eventually lead you to a catastrophic loss, and you wouldn't want that. Our trade alert services help answer these 2 questions. Not only will I help you find the right trade candidate, but I'll also show you how to use the charts to manage risk. I don't use the charts to predict the future. I use them to protect the future. The charts tell me when it's time to get out as well as when it's time to get in. And that's what I'd like to teach you as well. We have 2 services, the Equity Oracle and the Options Oracle. The Equity Oracle is an alert service for traders who would like to trade only equities, whereas the Options Oracle is our premier alert service for both equity and option traders. Each alert is laid out in an easy-to-understand format that shows charts depicting entry and exit points. Risk management is our cornerstone of each service, so you don't have to struggle with the decision of when to get out, or when a trade goes against you, when should I take my loss. The strategy is to use the KISS principle, keeping it super simple. As a bonus, you'll have access to a live Q&A session as well, each and every month. This is where you can submit a stock symbol, and I will analyze these stocks while we discuss the best trading strategies for each position. And it gets better. In addition to the alert service and the live monthly Q&A sessions, we're also developing a member page that will include instructional videos about how to get the most out of our service. Without question, this is the best trade alert service available on the market, and we look forward to having you as our newest subscriber. Simply click on the link below to subscribe. It's easy. Once again, I'm AJ Monty, Chief Market Strategist for the Market Guys. Thanks for watching.
Enrolling in this service is easy. Simply click on the link below to subscribe, and your weekly alert will be delivered right to your email box. And if you act now, we will include AJ's best-selling book, The Market Guy's 5 Points for Trading Success. This is a first-time offer that will get you on the road to success and keep you there. Remember, if you continue to do what you've always done, things will never change. Positive results will only come after you've taken the first step in the right direction. We look forward to having you as our newest member.